What's up guys, it's your boy Ru, and today we're going to be taking an in-depth look and analysis of the new kuronokiseki information that was revealed during yesterday's livestream. We'll be taking a look at some of the new footage on the battle system, as well as the descriptions for the new characters. Bon Arcride, Agnes Claudel, Aron Wei, and Barry Alfide. So these four are going to be our main party members, so after we get through the battle system, we'll take a look at some of those characters. So now, gameplay footage. We got Bon Arcride, the main protagonist, roaming around on the map. Sees an enemy, lock on, straight into battle. So that transition is super clean. I really like how that looked. We'll take a look at it one more time. Roaming, right into the battle. I really like that. So to compare to a couple of other JRPG games, first up we got Kakarot. So the reason why I want to come here, so now I loaded straight into an enemy. Right, so pretend we're roaming, we're flying around, we see an enemy, want to fight them. We come up to them, we encounter them, and then we get this little loading screen. So one thing to keep in mind on here, it wasn't that slow, just because I am on the PS5, so compared to the PS4, the loading times are a little bit faster. So that's why I definitely like the main difference. So comparing those two, whereas we saw in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, there was that little loading phase of it where you encounter the enemy and then you kind of go into that little encounter screen, and then you go into the battle. Whereas here we roam, you lock on, you go straight into the battle. Now that right there, what he just did, I believe that is the dodge mechanic, how the dodge is going to work in this game. And then as soon as Bon finishes dodging, boom, switch right into Claudel, and now the person that's playing this is controlling her, and now he's going to do actions with her. So now you can now doing a bunch of melee sequences. So this is basically how the in real-time action looks like. As far as the gameplay wise, it looks super smooth. So now the way I'm viewing this is this game right here. So we're loading it to Ys 9. So I really do feel like Falcom took some of the components from the Ys series gameplay and essentially incorporated it into kuronokiseki. By the looks of it, it looks very similar. So now let's take a look at right here. So right now I'm controlling the Crimson King, right? So similarly to the video I just showed, the video clip I just showed, right? We're roaming around. Whoop, I see an enemy, lock on, right? I'm roaming, see an enemy, lock on. If I don't lock on, I just simply don't lock on, I just run right past them. And then if I roll, right, dodging and I roll. So right here, you see a lock on, let's body them. And then even the melee sequence, right? When we saw Bon Arcride, let's go back. So even the melee sequence. Let's go back a little bit here. Even the melee sequence look how smooth and fluid that melee sequence move. Looks super similar. It looks to Ys 9, right? Okay, I got it. But you guys know what I'm trying to say, right? Like look at the smoothness of that little melee combo. Fairly similar. Even the dodge. Give me that. I don't want to get a flash step. I just want to dodge here. So boom, right? That's the dodge. That little roll is the dodge in Ys. Similarly. Similar thing. Hit, dodge. Literally looks almost exactly the same, right? So I definitely feel like they took components of the Ys games and put it into kuronokiseki. At least the more recent Ys games like Ys 8 and Ys 9. Now the switch, fairly similar as well. If you go back, dodge, switch. Now if you go right back into the Ys game, if I want to switch, so let's say I dodge, just pretend I dodge, boom, dodge, switch. Switch right into the white cat right here. Switch, boom, switch right into it. So even the switching looks fairly similar. Now the one thing I do want to note, in the Ys games, we do have the flash step. So if you time it properly, oh, press the wrong button. Time it properly, dang it, come on man, come on. There we go, we get a flash move. Finally got it to work. So I'm fully expecting the in real-time action portion of the battle system to look very similar to Ys 9, right? As we saw, the way we go into the actual battle phase, from just roaming on the map, pressing the command to lock on, and then just go straight into the fight, was very similar as we saw to Ys 9. Even the evasion looked fairly similar as far as the way visually. Whether there's a flash guard and flash move, I highly doubt it, but maybe they'll implement some sort of invincibility frames or a counter of sorts, because so far in most Trails games, right, you dodge, you have a counter. So maybe they'll incorporate something like that, but based off what we just saw in this little clip, it doesn't appear to be anything of that sort of nature. It just looks like a complete you just don't get hit type of mechanic. So now going back into the video footage, the melees looks very smooth. As soon as you finish them off, you basically, there's no windscreen, right? You just go right back onto the open world map, and then you just, if there's a nearby enemy, you just lock onto the next one and you just go again. Very similar to Ys. Same thing, you roam around, you go right into the next battle. If you want to encounter them, you can. If you don't, well, you just don't, right? You just don't lock on, you just keep running. So I definitely, one thing I find disappointing about that is the lack of windscreens, because those unique windscreens would just added like this emotional, I feel like emotional aspect to some of these games, of the Trails games that we all came to know and love. So I really wish it had those, but at least it's very smooth as far as going from one monster battle to the next and going from battle phase into open world. So I really like the easy, smooth transitions, and I'm fully anticipating that not only will it look, but it should feel similar to how we just saw with the Ys game. So now, right here, so this next portion I'm about to show right here is going to depict some of the turn-based aspects of this game, which I really like what they did here, and we'll get into it in a little bit. Lock on, combos, boom. That right there. So I'm demonstrating one more time. Real time, boom. Now that little change is it switching from in real-time action into turn-based. I really like that concept that they did there. On the left side, we can see our basic sort of commands that we're used to in Trails games. We got the triangle command associated with the items. We've got L1 associated with arts, a little bit different. We got R1 associated with crafts. And then of course we have our melee button. And then S boost, they didn't go into it in the live stream, so hopefully we get more information, or we can just find out what it is when they actually get my hands on the game. When we get our hands on the game. So that transition, super nice. It goes from, so we have both components of real-time action and turn-based. So depending on how you want to play the game, you can just stay as in real time and just use the basic melee sequence that we saw there. Or if you also want to use your crafts and arts, you switch into turn-based. So here, if we look at the top area, we can see the action bar, essentially the sequence in which the characters are going to move, right? Is Vaughn going to move? Agnes, Aaron, Fairy, right? Who's going to move? Are the monsters going to move? So the order, just exactly how we're used to. And I really like this switch. Super smooth. I'm gonna reiterate one more time. Like, look at this smooth. Look at that transition. So what I believe that is essentially you start the match off in real time using basic combos, so using their weapons. So right here, Vaughn is using his stun caliber, which is the weapon is called. He's using that. If you want to go into this turn-based mode and you want to use crafts, or you want to use arts, I believe what you have to do is essentially take out their version of an Arcus, right? So let's switch into Hajimari. Right into Hajimari, let's encounter this monster right here. Boom. So now I got my squad. Let me zoom out of this. So now, right, as we can see, so in real-time action, let's just quickly go back, and I'm gonna demonstrate it one more time. In real-time action, then you press a command, which I believe, so if we take one more quick look here, so pausing right here, we're in real-time battle phase. If you look at the left-hand corner, they have 3 sort of command inputs. Square, I'm not really sure what that square is. Triangle, the circle command just looks like a melee, probably like your melee sequence, melee combos. And then the X, that X symbol looks exactly like, so hopping right back into Hajimari, that X symbol looks exactly like the Brave Order right here. Our Brave Order icon is our D-pad up button, and its symbol is exactly the same. So what I'm thinking is that in Kuronokiseki, how it's going to work is if we're doing real-time action and you want to switch into turn-based, you have to press that command, that little lightning button that resembles the Brave Order in Hajimari and Trails of Cold Steel 4. So I really think like pressing that command will allow us to go into turn-based, and I really like that. So now similarities. 1, we have the items, drop down, whatever you want to use. We have, I'm not sure how if there's, I highly doubt there will be Brave Orders, but if they replace that, I wonder if that's what the S boost is. Is the S boost mechanic going to kind of replace what the concept of Brave Orders was? I don't know, we'll see. But then we have the arts, right? Arts, drop down menu, select which one you want, which we'll take a look at this in Kuronokiseki in a second here. Pick which arts you want. Now the main thing, switching back. Now, even when what I really like what they did is when you're on the turn-based part, is that you can still move, right? Look at Vaughn and look at how Agnes are moving around the map. So it's her turn now, and like, look, she wants to use an art, but she's moving around. So she was moving around, which I think is brilliant. Because if we go into Hajimari, so right on the left side here, we have our little action bar, the way which our order in which our characters are gonna move. So now, after I click the move, right, and move. So now notice how, now look at the action sequence bar on the left side, vertical left side column, and we can see, right? So going back, press the move. I want to move him, right? For whatever reason, click. This is where I want to move him. Boom. Now his turn is over, right? McBurn's turn is over. You can no longer do anything with them until I go back into his action. Whereas here, in this footage of Kuronokiseki, which I really think is amazing job what they did, how they did this, is that it's not, even though it's turn-based, kind of like it's very similar to the turn-based action of the previous Trails games. You still have in real-time aspects in the sense where I can move the character. So the drop-down menu is still there. Let's wait for it. The drop-down menu is still there. Go to the arts. The drop-down menu is still there, but Agnes is moving. And it's not in the sense where it's taking up her turn. Like, she doesn't need to take a turn to move and then you have to wait till you get her back to do an art. No. You literally have the drop-down menu of the art and you're moving simultaneously. So I really like that aspect of the gameplay. And then one other thing I want to mention before we move on is the SCLM function. So if you look here, which they do show, so continuing on. So now the crafts. Works the same way. You click a craft, it's in the same turn, right? Arts actually take time to form, which they kept that, which we just saw right there, right? So Agnes started, she loaded up her art, she moved around, went to where she wanted to go, and then she went to her next part, which is exactly how basic Trails games work, right? So back here, I want to use an art. I click, boom, I gotta load up my art. So that part stays the same. It's not simultaneous, whereas with the craft, you just pick and you go. So I really like how they kept that same, still giving us that classic Trails vibe. And then right here, well, I actually just got it off. I didn't mean to. So what I wanted to bring up was the SCLM function. So let me see if I can get it again. Okay, he's fainted. So now the way the combat links worked in the Trails games, as far as Senokiseki, the Trails of Cold Steel, and Hajimari, so everyone has an Arcus, right? Basically our battle orbment. So let's say I want to have Arios linked up with Reen. They both have their Arcus. Between Arcuses, we can link up with one another and use various combat abilities. Right? So we link. Now the way the combat links worked, obviously, is we have the whole unbalance function. As soon as you unbalance, you do a combo attack. So I'm gonna use a craft because why not? Let's get this animation here. You feel me? Get this animation in there. He's fainted. Automatic unbalance. So we're going to unbalance here. Beautiful. Boom. Unbalance. Combat link. Reen attacks. Now, reason why I wanted to show this, even though we all know what combat links are if you play these games, is this right here. So if we go right back into this. She uses an art. That's not what I wanted to come here for. Now look at this right here. SCLM. This is the function. Boom. Hold on. Let's go back. Melee. So that little blue flash, I feel like it's some sort of combo between characters. Possibly between more than two, but for sure, at least for right here, since we only have these two are the ones that are comboing. So that little flash right there, Go a little bit more back. Right there. They're both glowing in blue. So I feel like that's some sort of like combo between the two characters. Maybe like a combat link, if you will, right? Because in this game, they don't have Arcuses, but they have their own version of a battle orbit. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but I know for sure they have that. And I believe that's what's... They're relating this with the crafts and the arts. That's how arts and crafts are being used through that battle orbit. Very similar to what I just showed in Hajimari, right? With the Arcuses. So I believe... So now they're like, I guess, linked up, right? Linked up, combo. Some sort of chain, if you will. And then she attacks, she does a melee. Agnes does a melee. And then Bond follows up. Boom. Done. Monster's dead. So I feel like the SCLM function, the new sort of mechanic that's going to be unique to Kuronokiseki, I feel like this is going to be this game's version of the combat link. I really do. Based off what we saw, right? With the Arios hitting, unbalanced, melee. Now whether this is going to be unbalancing, I don't know how the actual mechanic of it's going to work. But I definitely feel like SCLM is some sort of combo chain attack for the characters in this game. So that was fascinating. So that's pretty much the gameplay footage that we got. I could not believe my eyes when I saw this. So this is from Crunchyroll's Twitter. Basically guaranteeing. This right here is news that Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel is getting a freaking anime in 2022. Can y'all freaking believe it, man? Can y'all believe this? Trails of Cold Steel. I repeat, Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel, Senno Kiseki, Rin Schwarzer, Class 7 is getting an animation. Is getting an anime. Now, it's more likely going to be a whole new story, like an original story with a new cast, so we're probably not going to see Rin in all of them. Which I kind of don't mind. Because it would be nice to get a complete story, like that way, like if the anime is like a miss, it won't ruin the game. So I kind of like that fact. But regardless, Trails of Cold Steel is getting an anime in 2020, and I will be watching that. So get y'all popcorns ready, get y'all drinks ready, because that is going to be some fire. Some fire, bruh. Fire. Absolute heat. Can't wait for this. So that was all in the live stream. Phenomenal job. Phenomenal. Bunch of information. Really looking forward to seeing this. And that's everything. Yeah, that's everything. Those are my thoughts on the video footage that we saw of the battle system. Let me know what you guys think, not only of my reaction, but of the actual information that was released itself. And what are you looking forward to most for Kuronokiseki if you are going to play? And the anime as well. But yeah, that's all for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great day, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.